Hello and welcome to the most important podcast I will have ever done. This is going to be me live demoing why every single SEO tool on the entire market is wrong. My name is Stephen Pope and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. And I can say this boldly that we've got some big news that is so far industry-wide ranging that it will blow the socks off you. This matters because it's being done incorrectly by all of the popular SEO Amazon tools. And if all of these Amazon SEO tools are wrong and you're following them right now, you need to update your best practices immediately. The impact of what we're going to talk about today, before I answer questions, is extremely far reaching. It's basically an extra 15 to 20% of your search term juice. And I'm going to be going through and explaining this. This morning when I came to grips with this discovery and I tried to explain this to everybody else, my own team was struggling to understand it. So as I talk about this, if you don't follow me the first time around, ask some questions. I'm going to do my best to explain why this is such a big development. And I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk through how I came to this conclusion and why this matters. So here's the LinkedIn post that I made today that kind of explains some of this. And essentially what happens is in a tool like Helium 10 or ZonGuru, those are my two favorite SEO tools. They are counting characters instead of bytes. And so the way that Seller Central works is it actually counts bytes and not characters. So what is a character? What is a byte? A character is an alphanumerical or a space, but a byte does not include spaces. So in here, you can go into a tool like Frankenstein. This is part of Helium 10. And here you can see that they are counting 287 characters. Their tool should instead be counting bytes. All of the tools are focused on characters. They should be focused on bytes. So if you go over to Seller Central, this is my actual soap product, my Age of Sage soap product. Here is proof that this works. Right here, this is 287 bytes. Or excuse me, 250 bytes, but 287 characters. And so a tool like Helium 10 says, hey, go below 250 characters. But in essence, I'm able to get an extra 37 characters in. And once you hit over the 250 bytes, so let me just put some spaces in here. We should be able to trigger, hey, there's the error message. Please reduce your general keyword length to less than, what is that? 250 bytes, not characters. So I've made this LinkedIn post. I encourage everybody to come and comment on this post, help it go viral. This is an industry changing situation here. And I've started to try and get my hands on some of the other SEO tools to prove this. And I have not been able to get access to as many as I wanted as quickly as I can. But right here, here's the ZonGuru proof. So right there, ZonGuru's tool, 288 characters over 250. And I've already talked to the CEO of ZonGuru. His name's John Tilley. He's probably even watching this right now. He's going to switch his ZonGuru tool over to bytes. He's already told me he's going to do that. I have a direct tie to him. Helium 10 also going to do the same thing. I suspect that all of the SEO tools are doing this incorrectly. So instead of counting characters, you need to be counting bytes. And the spaces are what you need to not worry about. So if you have a lot of small search terms, so like let's say you're doing 2 and 3 letter search terms, don't worry about it because the spaces between those do not affect you. They don't affect your SEO. They're not counted by Amazon against you. In the past, and I think like 5-6 years ago, there was a gigantic debate about whether spaces or commas were the best way to do Amazon's SEO. And Jeff asked, by the way, here, so is a space a byte? No, it is not. That's the point I'm making here. And I know this is going to take some time to sit in with everybody. It's going to take some time to sit in with the industry. And quite frankly, one of the questions I'm asking myself, how did everybody miss this? Here's a fun fact, though. My team has been doing this correctly without my knowledge. And so when we talk about why we're SEO pros, we had figured out this was a 250 bytes issue basically since we started our SEO documents. And we don't use the tools. We use Excel files to count the bytes. And so this soap product that I'm showing right here was done by my team. So I'm going to delete that out. We'll get the error to go away here in a second. And they built this, and it was at 287 characters. 287 bytes. This is going to be really hard. Even if I'm messing it up and explaining it, I don't expect everybody to follow this entirely and track with me. But in any case, let me repeat this. Spaces do not count. And 5 or 6 years ago, there was an industry debate about whether you should include commas in your search term field. And the reason why I recommend you don't include commas in your search term field is because you can permutate, that is combine, every key phrase with the following key phrases. So if we bring back the screen here, I'll make it as big as I can. That means that lemon blend also combines with lavender, which also combines with winter and citrus. If you put commas in here like lemon, comma, blend, comma, whatever, these words, instead of permutating with each other, would be separated. It would basically signal to Amazon that these words do not correlate. We want them exact match. And so these commas also don't count against your spaces. So even if you don't believe that you should use spaces instead of commas, you can test this yourself to prove that commas as well as spaces do not count against your bytes. So those that are tracking with me at home, pull up one of your Seller Central inventory pages right now. Go into your search term field, keywords drop down, search term field, and start playing with it. I double dog dare you to do this right now with me. Just type in 5 spaces like this, or 100 spaces. Doesn't matter. How many spaces can we do? Spaces galore. Here we go. Does anybody see a red error message? No. Why? Because spaces don't count. We could test this again with commas like this. Commas. They don't count. So here is the Amazon help file that proves all of this. Let's see if I can get the right tab here. So this reference help file, I'm putting this into the chat right now. This is such a big development. This is going to completely change how people view SEO on Amazon. This is the biggest announcement or big reveal that I have done since I proved that A+ content indexes. And that was revolutionary, which then changed how everybody did their enhanced brand content, where they put copy into the enhanced brand content and they focused on the alt text of A+ content. This is extraordinarily big news because it means that everybody can get an extra 15 to 20% SEO juice that all of the SEO tools, Helium 10, ZonGuru, probably many others. We haven't physically tested Jungle Scout yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the pile of all tools being wrong. And this means that you need to not count spaces in your search term field against your byte count, not a character count, but a byte count. All right, so let's go to the Amazon help file. Right here, it says, what is the difference between a byte and a character? The search term field in Seller Central has a built-in byte counter, which stops accepting input at the length limit that is quoted in bytes and not characters. So when I'm doing this big reveal, this is like such a Like, oh my gosh, how did everybody miss this? This help file is clear as night and day, but everybody missed this. It stops accepting input at the length limit that is quoted in bytes and not characters, as some search terms contain multiple byte characters. Bytes correspond to a one-to-one alphanumerical character, for example, A to Z or A to Z or 0 to 9. The length becomes variable when dealing with more complex characters, such as I actually don't even know how to say this. Umlaut, is that how you say it? In German, for example, which can be 2 bytes per character. So for those in Europe with some German language, pay attention to that. That counts against you. 2 characters, not 1. 2 bytes. Wow, I've got to correct myself here. Other complex characters, such as Japanese and Chinese characters, can be 3 or 4 bytes. There are cases where search terms can contain a mixture of single and multi-byte characters, which make prediction of characters count complex. Right? So that was a mouthful. Are spaces and punctuation counted? No. We cannot get any clearer night and day of what I'm revealing today, which will send shockwaves through the SEO community about how to properly do search term organization on Amazon for your account. And you're hearing it first on the My Amazon Guy podcast. The purpose of calculating the length of search terms, Amazon search does not count spaces or punctuation. For readability, search terms should be separated by spaces. Punctuation can be used, but is not mandatory. I'm not going to keep reading the help file and bore you all to death. You can read it yourself, but these are the 2 points that put this issue to rest. It is so perfectly understandable about how Amazon does it. So we showed you on the back end, commas don't count, spaces don't count. But the moment I start putting these characters in, watch that red error. Please reduce your generic keyword length to less than 250 bytes. That's proof. So really, really big news. I want to take credit for this news to show that this is why you should work with My Amazon Guy. These sort of developments are what puts us far ahead of the agency competition. There is nobody on the entire market that understands Amazon SEO like My Amazon Guy. Nobody. And we have continuously set the standard and the bar extremely high. If you don't understand SEO, your design will be wrong. If you don't understand SEO, you can't manage your catalog correctly. These 4 key areas tie together. You must have PPC and SEO, design, and catalog running your account. And if you're missing one of these components, you're in for a world of pain to manage your Amazon growth. All right, so that is my big reveal on SEO. If you joined us late, we just revealed that every SEO tool is incorrectly counting spaces towards your byte count in your search term field, which means there's 15 to 20% extra space in your search term fields that all the tools say you shouldn't be using, but you should totally be using. This is a major development. All right. I'm going to go start taking questions now. I appreciate the new members that joined us today, including Frost Crystals. Cool Peeps, I appreciate your donation on that sticker. Thank you very much. We have a new member with Tian. Thank you for joining us. And Mamoon, thank you for your super stickers. So I'm going to jump to member questions first. Super stickers will precede member questions. Then I'm going to go to member questions. And then I'll take future member questions because you're not a non-member. You just haven't hit that join button yet with us. So Frostix, thank you for becoming a member today. Would it be better to run vouchers instead of PPC? Does it compare in terms of boosting ranks? So for those that don't know what vouchers are, those are coupons in the UK. That's their word for coupon over in the UK. And I would say you have to run PPC. Now, could you test running a coupon with your PPC? Absolutely. Sometimes you're going to have better results. Sometimes you'll have worse. We'll go to, so let's see if I can find Maman's question in queue here. Not seeing one from Mammon yet, but I'll get to you and we'll find you and make sure we prioritize since you did a donation. We'll go to Cool Peeps next year. Hi, Big Brain Steven. You're one of our super fans. Thanks for that. I'm trying to add or do a daily, weekly, monthly P&L report for each of my SKUs. Is there a tool you would suggest? I honestly think Helium 10 checks a lot of boxes here. There's other tools like Perpetua and Seller Legend. I haven't used them in many years, but I'm sure they're pretty good to answer that question. But I think Helium 10 does a pretty decent job on that question. My tacos are in mid 30s, still 3 months after my multi-ASIN brand launch. How do I drive it down? Recently, I lowered my bids across the board, and now my total sales have gone down. What do I do to lower tacos and keep up sales? Thank you. So some items do take longer to develop to bring down your tacos. We frequently talk about how when you first go to market with a new product, you should expect 30% tacos. So what do we mean by that? That means for every $100 that the product sells, you're going to spend $30, that is 30%, on ads. That's pretty standard. So some products and categories, you have to do even more, like supplements, for example. But what you need to do here is go to the content and see why the conversion rate is not helping you, Cool Peeps, because I bet you your main image needs to be A/B tested with a Pacvue test, or something needs to change. If the tacos is not coming down, it's because you need to convert better, most likely. I always talk about traffic generation, right? Like I'm on my soapbox about why traffic is 10 times more important than conversion. And I'm like in the minority, right? Like everybody is like conversion. And I'm like, nope, traffic. And other people are like, okay, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? And I get it. But no, seriously, traffic is way more important. And in the case of tacos or a high ACoS, this is the one time where we have to talk conversion first. You have to bring the conversion up to lower your ad costs. So you need to run some A/B tests, most likely, and figure out why the consumer is not liking what they see. So when they go to convert on your page, it's not doing so hot. All right. So that was some questions from Cool Peep. And I think that's all the super stickers. We got a couple new ones in here. So we're going to go to the next super sticker here. So we got Karen and Ruben. Let's see if we can find Karen and Ruben's. Here's one from Karen. ASIN review. All right. I love ASIN reviews. Let's open another tab for that. Launched 6 to 7 weeks ago. Bravo 09, Henry 3QW 364. Oh, I typoed it. We don't allow direct links on our channel just because we get spam botted. So you have to type in the ASIN if you ever want an ASIN review. So let's go into the ASIN here. So launched 6 to 7 weeks ago. Some reasons Amazon automatically changed my product category to a category which I didn't even select. So this is very common. You can ask Amazon to change your category, but it's done automatically. So let's see if we can find the category. I think that's usually publicly listed for most products down in the product details section. So it is in beauty and personal care. That's not a bad category. And bath and body brushes. I don't know if I would resist that one. I think that's actually right where you should be. That looks pretty good to me. But if you feel like there's another niche subcategory that your product should be in, you want to file a brand registry ticket. If you haven't filed one of those before, it's pretty straightforward. It's almost self-explanatory. You're going to go over to brandservices.amazon.com, and you're going to log in to the United States. And I'm doing this off screen in case I have any personal information. Once you're in here, you're just going to file a contact brand support case. And in here, you can do listing issue, and you can request one of these, including change a product's category. In here, you can come in and type the ASIN, and then you can ask them to make that change. So Karen, that's what you would need to do if you want to change your category. But in all honesty, I think yours is pretty solid. I don't think you should worry about that one at all. Ruben was the next super sticker here. We're going to go to him. Amen to the big reveal. Thank you. Appreciate that, Ruben. Let's see if you've got another question in queue. It is like finding needles in a haystack. I probably need to hire another social media assistant to dive into questions. Ruben, I don't see any there. Here we go. Hi, Stephen. Hope you're doing great. That's all I got. So if you got another question you want me to prioritize, Ruben, let me know. All right, I'm going to go top to bottom on member questions now, since I think I've got all the super stickers out of the way. Let's go to, so Cool Peeps also asks, how do you continue to expand your keywords and competitive SKU PPC target list weekly? I'm just adding in all the profitable terms for my search report weekly. Is that it? Thanks. That's a pretty strong portion of it, actually. So you can run auto campaigns that will automatically discover new keywords. That's one of the best ways to do it. And then you look at the search term report and then pull from it. I think this is something we've demoed a lot, so I won't do it today, but it's a really important one to do. And then after you do that, you can create new campaigns. The other way you can do it is by trying to create a new campaign, and you put your ASIN into the tool. There's a bunch of new suggested keywords that Amazon gives you. Those suggestions update over time. So if you haven't created a new campaign for your ASIN in a while and looked at the suggested keywords list, you should. That's a really good hack today. Not as important as the big reveal that you need to put more words in your search term field, because the character count is not a character count. It's a byte count that we talked about in the intro of our podcast today. If you're joining us late, you're going to need to rewatch that stuff. It was a big, big reveal. But if you haven't gone and looked at the sponsored keyword suggestions from Amazon, there's some really big ones in there. Imi asks, do you maintain using fixed bids after launch, or do you eventually switch to dynamic down? I do fixed bid in the first 20 sales. Once you've got 20 sales, you can switch to dynamic down or up and down. We do get different results. Our standard is typically to go dynamic down. I'd say we default that way in general, but there is always a chance that you'll have a different result, and you should test it yourself. One of the ways you could test this on your own account is create 2 campaigns with everything the same with one difference. Have one do up and down, have one do down only. See which one performs better. You may get different results. How do you adjust bids for keywords with super low impressions? How do you increase bids? So we use bulk sheet updates for the most part. So just like I criticized all of the SEO tools today, I still think that the human brain power is superior to the PPC tools as well. Here is an example. If you're having trouble growing your brand, the Amazon automated PPC tools will not solve your problem. Automated PPC tools are really great at one thing: lowering your costs. They are not good at growing your brand. So it's better to run PPC software versus do nothing. But if you run bulk sheet updates to change bids and strategies, you're going to be far better off than just plugging it into a Tika Metrics, an Ad Badge, or a Selix, or INtentwise, or one of the other many other tools on the market. At My Amazon Guy, we prefer bulk sheet macro updates. I believe Better AMS would agree with us on this one. They are also one of the industry leaders on corporate advertising. Let's go to Osos. Can we write another language in the A+ content? Like if my customers are Korean and US, I'll put some words in Korean in designs. Yeah, I think that's totally fine. There's actually a way to upload different languages for the A+ content, believe it or not. I don't know if you can do anything besides Spanish on the US market, though. So this would be an interesting thing to investigate. But I would say even if you only did one design and did a portion of it in Korean, I think that'd be totally fine. Why? Because if you're selling a product from Korea, people love that stuff. They would love to see the Korean graphics and whatnot. I would definitely do that. If I quote from the Bible in the A+ content, is that allowed? Okay. Ozos, you, sir, win best question of the day. I think that's a good one. And the fact that you even have to ask that question shows the absurdity of Amazon's A+ content policies. Does it not? Does it not show the absurdity of the fact that you have to ask that question? Wow. Yes, you can quote from the Bible. However, Amazon does do some anti-Christian things. Amazon has banned Christian products from advertising frequently. So be careful. I would be very careful. This might be one instance where I say, instead of putting it in copy, put it in an image just to play it safe. For whatever reason, Amazon is anti-Christian. And if some of you are listening to this and being like, what are you talking about? No, I'm serious. I had a Christian t-shirt company where they couldn't run ads. because they were promoting Jesus Christ. That happens. So, and then when we flagged it all the way up to the Jeff Bezos pod, if you will, sent those emails to Jeff at Amazon. I almost said Jeff at my Amazon guy. Don't email that guy. That's one of my employees. But yeah, it fell on deaf ears. They're like, oh, it was a mistake. But then they still kept the ban in place. It's ridiculous. Now Amazon does have some good ban policies. You know, they don't want to promote alcoholism or pornographic things on the platform or illegal stuff. And, you know, I agree with that stuff. But banning Bible stuff and Christian stuff from the Amazon platform, I think that's a First Amendment problem, in my opinion. All right, off that soapbox. I know most of you don't like it. What considered to be average return rates? I don't want to give you the wrong numbers, but I would say anything between 5 and 10% is probably average. However, if you're in clothing or any size-related industry, I would expect return rates to be 15% or far greater. So clothing, shoes, apparel, those would be way, way higher. But I would say, in general, 5 to 10%, pretty standard. What's a healthy operation expense margin for Amazon FBA? So depending on how you like to run these calculations, you can get different percentages, numbers, and opinions. So what I would say is, whatever you have your COGS at, so let's do some easy math. Let's say your COGS are $5. You're probably going to need to 3x COGS on an item under $25. So if your COGS are 5, you sell for 15 or more. If you are selling an item that retails for $500 or $800, chances are your percentage on margin should be significantly smaller. You might be operating at 10 to 25% instead of doing 300 times the COGS. And that's because you're able to still advertise at a profit. Even if it was a $10 ad click, you could still make money on those big ticket items because you're making dollars in mass. So everybody's going to have a different way they want to calculate that depending on the item costs and whatnot. But by and large, what I would say is that for your standard $15 to $20 item, 3x COGS is the fastest, dirtiest, easiest way to run that calculation. You could also consider doing this at COGS, ad costs, FBA referral fees, and logistics, and all in on that. And as long as you have a net margin of 15 to 25%, 15 minimum, I think you'll be just fine. If you win them on price today, though, you're going to lose them on price tomorrow. So keep that in mind. You want to win them with the community, engage them, make sure that they are going to buy from you regardless if you raise your prices 10%. What new PPC strategies are you doing in 2022? So this is not new, but I think it's a really fun hack. Make sure you have an auto campaign for every SKU by itself. So you could do this one of two ways. You can make one campaign per SKU, or you could do one campaign with an ad group per SKU. About 95% is as effective that way, in my opinion. And that's a great technique. And what you're going to do is with those auto campaigns, you're going to do like 5-cent bids and $1 budgets. Super small and highly effective. It works really, really well. So that's one of my favorite strategies. The other strategy is always be advertising. Never stop advertising. That doesn't mean advertise over the top or overspend, but it means always run your ads. Do not turn them off. And don't stock out. But in terms of new PPC strategies, I would say video ads, most underrated. Display ads, jury is out. And way too many people are doing DSP. You shouldn't be doing DSP unless you're spending $50,000 a month on ads right now. And here's why. If we look at the marketing funnel, sponsor products down here in the marketing funnel, sponsor brands and video ads, display, and then here is DSP. It's at the top of the funnel. What does that mean? That means you're going to get way more curiosity clicks and not interested buyers. So sponsor products, still king. Absolutely still king. Defensive ASIN ads, also really good. We've done a bunch of live Q&As of late with PPC experts. We had SellerX last Monday come on our podcast, asked a bunch of PPC questions. Really good podcast. We do AMAs with PPC experts all the time. Better AMS with Destiny Wishon and Michael Erickson at Ad Badger are frequent guests of our PPC AMA series. Steve says, our grocery items are getting gated under baby food or dietary supplement. We've submitted the requested COA, gets declined from a templated response with no reason why repeatedly. So you probably have one of two normal routine problems on this. You have to have an exact match on the company name on any documents, and the address also needs to match. So Steve, most important thing you do is go look at your document and go look at what information is in your Seller Central portal. You need to make sure they're identical. If one of those, if they're still identical and you're still having a problem, I would recommend a coaching call with Saban on our staff. And so with here, you go over to coaching and Saban right there. He does not have same day appointments available, however. So if you need a same day appointment, you could talk to any one of our other coaches. Saban's usually really booked. I think I didn't spend enough time doing the ASIN review. I need to go back to that one, don't I? All right. So this is the ASIN that was posted earlier. I got caught on the category question and I didn't do an actual review of the products. Let me do that real quick. So you're missing a video. You're also not showing me any face shots. This one's the closest one we got there. I want to see faces of the people you're working with because it's a really important thing to put people in the humanization aspect of a product. So if you don't have a face shot on your listing, I think that's really important to have. A video could definitely fill in the gaps there. Beautiful emoji use and appropriate, in my opinion, for this particular product. You've got more than the customary 5 bullet points. Nothing wrong with that. A+ content is missing. That's where we're going to end the ASIN review. You got to get the A+ content in. So if you don't have, looks like you might need a trademark. So you need to get Regal Living trademarks. Don't hesitate. Get that trademark today. You can go over to myamazonguy.com and get a trademark. And we'll get that trademark over to you within 1 business day of purchase. And then you can complete your entire brand registry process in under 7 days. So make sure that happens. All right. So let's go see if we've missed any of the other sticker questions. So Ruben, I think, asked a follow-up since he gave us a sticker today. We'll go to him. Once we chose the working keywords and the ASINs from the auto campaigns and create new manual ones based on the auto campaign results, why our auto campaigns start performing badly? This one is one of those questions where I have to reread it. When we choose the working keywords and the ASINs from auto campaigns and create new manual ones based on the auto campaigns, why are the auto campaigns to start performing badly? If you had asked this question and said, why don't the manual do as well as the auto? I might have a better answer for you. And that would be because there's a lot of factors that auto campaigns get some extra love from Amazon and lower your costs. But if you added it to a manual campaign and the auto started performing worse, I scratched my head at this one. Ruben, you're not negating the keyword from the auto, right? If you are, that would be the answer. But if you're not negating the keyword from the auto, it should still perform for you. So I'm very perturbed by that question. Not sure what could be causing that. If anybody else has a good guess on that one, feel free to add it to the comment section here. Scrolling back up to our other member questions. And then once we finish the member questions, we'll get to future member questions. Let's see. I have a seller that wants to sell a brand, but can't get authorization from Amazon, even though they have sent invoices that show they are buying product directly from that brand. What's next? Jeff, can you ask them to get a letter from the seller of that brand, the actual manufacturer, and have them have a letterhead with written authorization? If they have a good relationship with the brand in question, that will solve this problem, no problem. If you can't get that, it could be because Amazon's not accepting any sellers of that brand at all. And the other thing you need to do is make sure that the address and the name match, just like the COA question we handled today. You need exact match on those things. What are your thoughts on some PPC tools like INtentwise, Perpetua, Kenshoo, Pacvue? Which one is good? So we do not think any PPC tool is as good as running bulk sheet updates and macros as an agency. I think PPC tools are really good at reducing costs, but are not good at growing brands. And so I'm biased when I say these things because I'm a human, and I obviously would prefer somebody hire me as the human versus pay these other tools money to run those tools. So take that with a grain of salt. Perpetua, if that's even how you say that one, was recently sold publicly. And so they have, if a tool sells for millions of dollars, it's a pretty good sign. It's a good tool. There's also Quartile and many, many other tools on the market. Ruben also asks, if I sell a product, let's see if I can find, if I sell a product that is a top seller on Home Depot and Lowe's, can we use graphics of those stores in our A+ content? Yeah, Ruben, I think that's totally safe. As long as you are the brand owner or you have ties to that. If Home Depot or Lowe's physically made the graphics, probably getting into some gray area on that. But chances are they did not. Most likely they did not. So I think that's completely safe, Ruben. Let's see. Let's go to the next question here. What a healthy ratio of PPC and organic sales? This one's tough. This is a really tough one, Abdallah. I don't know what answer I want to give on this one. I've seen some accounts where PPC is 80% of the sales. I've seen some accounts where PPC is 20% of the sales. And I think the way I would look at this is the tacos between 11 and 15%. Depending on the category and the competition, if your tacos, that is your total ad spend of your sales, is between 11 and 15%, I think that's healthy. But the actual sales that come from PPC versus organic, keep in mind, for every one sale of PPC you get, you're going to get 3 organic sales over the course of the next 6 months, minimum. So I think tacos is the most appropriate way to calculate that. Is Amazon manipulating suggested bids to make us spend more? I got a keyword that Amazon suggested the bid at 80 cents to $1.40. I used 35 cents and got 200 clicks last week. So Abdallah, typically the answer to your question is yes-ish, because Amazon's suggested bid is showing usually the average bid to be in the top 4. But if it's a high impression keyword, a 35-cent bid will be lower in the funnel, so not in the top 4 spots, and could potentially still get plenty of clicks and impressions. So yes, Amazon does want the PPC cost to go up. They're making money on that. So there is some bias for them to do that. So I would take suggested bids as how to get in the top 4. That's how I would use that. Why do you only recommend using one exact broad match in launching a not phrase? So we've just had better ACoS results on exact and broad match, simply put. Phrase, it can be used. There's nothing wrong with phrase. It's just we've just had better ACoS results from broad and exact for whatever reason. We go wherever the data tells us to go. Faisal says, I'm changing ownership of my Amazon brand to my LLC. Anything I should look out for? You will change the Seller Central portal legal information over to the LLC, but no, it's really straightforward. You just go to settings, go to the account info and legal, and switch it over. You will not have any problems. You'll just basically redo the tax interview. Really good question, Vasil. I don't think we've even answered that one before. So that's a new one. What is the average spend of the accounts you consider as big accounts? I would say $20,000 minimum to be a big account, because that generally means you're doing at least 100K a month in gross. So you're $1 million annual account in terms of revenue. So that's what I would say on that. We have accounts that go up as much as $250,000 a month in ad spend. So your definition of big could be gigantic at that point. But I'd say anybody between 20 and 50 grand would be a monthly ad spend of being a big player on Amazon. But the big players, there's always a bigger fish, as Qui-Gon Jinn would say. And there are some companies spending millions of dollars on Amazon PPC, and those would be the whales, I guess. Listing was taken down for a month. Should I go on to launch mode again for the product to rank it better? Maybe. See what the indexing status is. I've seen yanked listings get completely reset, and I've also seen yanked listings have the ranking restored immediately. but whatever you do, spend 4 times as much PPC as you were spending before it got yanked for at least 2 weeks. You're going to need that PPC to reinvigorate that listing. My yearly sales is 70,000 with 7K. Amazon is asking for insurance, which costs around 2K, almost $200 per month. Is there a way to reduce that? And does the insurance cost increase if the sales increase? So this one's tough. I would say you're going to have to provide the insurance. I don't remember the exact price break you have to provide product insurance for. You're probably right at that cusp. Might have been 100K annual, not 100% on that one, to be honest. Dustin, my vice president of operations, did a video on product insurance and how to get it. If you are in that boat, just go to Google and type in My Amazon Guy product insurance. We have a video walking you through how to get it through one of our who we use. But I don't think they're very cheap. They're one of the more expensives. So there's local providers might be the best thing to do. Abdal, you just might need to get some quotes. But 2K is kind of the going rate, even at 70K. Probably the same cost up to $1 million. $2,000 would be about right. If anybody's willing to share their monthly sales and how much, or their yearly sales and how much they pay for product insurance, please add a comment. Abdallah would appreciate that to get some idea. If you missed our earlier part of our presentation, go rewatch it. All of the SEO tools are wrong. We talked about how bytes, not character counts, are needed. And Helium 10, Zonguru, and all of the SEO tools on the market are counting characters and not bytes in their suggestions. Maman says, can you do a quick ASIN teardown? Open to criticism on his ASIN. Let's go over to that one next. So Bravo 08 Paul 679Q4P. Let's do that. Typoed it out. Let's try it again so you guys can follow me typoing this one. Bravo 0. I have to click on 8P679Q4P. Maman, what am I typing in wrong? Help me out. I'll scroll down to your question. Here we go. All right. What am I typing in wrong, guys? Bravo 08. Oh, it's in the UK market. All right. Let's go over to UK. So let's open another tab. Amazon.com.co.uk. And we'll type in that ASIN. Still not coming up for me. Bravo 08. I'm in the UK now. Bravo 08 P679Q4P. I'm not sure why that's not coming up. What else am I missing, guys? I will come back to this. Trace says, hi, Steven, checked in late. My new same product coming in less weight than the previous. All else the same about the product. Do I need to change anything besides weight? What about existing? So what you're going to do, Trace, is you're going to go to the more inventory detail section, and you're going to change the weight dimensions, and then you're going to ask Amazon to remeasure your product. And then you can get that fixed, and you're going to be able to file a template upload to make that happen. Your address needs to be changed to the UK for the listing to appear. So I've got amazon.co.uk right there. I wonder if maybe you don't have delivery open to the United States. Maybe that's the problem. Let's try this and switch over to a UK postcode. So UK postcode, since I don't know how to get one of those off the top of my head. So we'll see if this works. Type that in and apply. Nope. No, I'm having a hard time on this one, Moment. So send me an email to podcast@myamazonguy. I'll give you some special after time for you. Zeke, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate the donation there. Do you recommend returnless refund for products under $12? How do we set it up? Yes, I would. I actually don't know how to set this one up. I bet you we could figure it out in about less than 2 minutes. It's probably going to be in settings, account health, and it's going to be in fulfilled by Amazon. It's going to be one of these most likely. And under here, if we go to returns, and I probably need to pull this off screen so I don't show my address. Let's see, just in case. So it looks like I'm safe here. So return or dispose, automatic unfulfillable returns. But if you're doing FBM, returnless refunds, maybe that's not going to be in the FBA section. It might be in the shipping returns section. That's probably where I would put it if I was them. Returns, not seeing it. So Zeke, if you haven't found what you needed, send me an email to podcast@myamazonguy. I'll see if I can track it down for you. But I believe you can just type in returnless refund into the search box. It should pull it up for you. Thank you for that question. All right, I gotta scroll back up to our member questions here. Vazel says, when making a new brand before you know your products would be a problem since they ask for category. The way that this is worded is confusing. When making a new brand before you know your products would be a problem since they ask for category. All right, so maybe that's some context for another question. You can always rebrand, though. It's not as bad as it sounds. Brand attribute change on Amazon. We help clients do that all the time. When transferring ASIN from category to PAT campaigns, do you negate the ASIN in the category campaign? Typically, no. I don't like negating things that work on a past campaign. You have a lot of history there. So when in doubt, I don't negate. Karen says, my main cash cow ASIN has been out of stock for 6 weeks now because of the UPS not collecting it at port. Once it's in stock, any recommendation on getting it up and running again after being out of stock so long? So yes, run 4 times the PPC would normally run, and especially some broad match campaigns to try and get as much exposure and velocity at a loss in the first 2 weeks of returning to back in stock. You need to get your velocity count up as high as possible. That is the best way to fix an out of stock SKU, is to simply sell a crap ton of product. So you can justify the advertising costs, because if you don't do that, it takes a long, long time for that to go well. We have an enormous amount of questions in queue today. I'm going to stay longer than I normally do because I spent 15 minutes of the podcast ranting about how all the SEO tools are wrong. So as a nice thing to help you guys out, I will stay longer and answer some additional questions. When we chose the working keywords and ASINs from AutoCampaign to create new manual ones based on the AutoCampaign results, why AutoCampaign start to perform badly? Oh, we did this one already. I'm so sorry. I want to mention the category change in case it was helpful to know, but I did want an overall ASIN review. So Karen, I think that was the one with the beauty category. I think it was good on that. All right, so Tian's got an ASIN review question. We'll go to that one here. Bravo 08 TK R3TYD. And here we go with a smart dimmer plug. So technology products are typically harder and more competitive than the average. In here, got a great main image. The fact that you have this showing dimmer plug like that with the app, super smart. Very, very smart thing to do. Very common best practice in technology to do stuff like that. The fact you have multiple videos adds a lot of genuinity to it. This coloring a little hard to read there, but I think it's fine. I'm not liking this. I think the color is too hard to read. Dark on dark generally doesn't work too well. Very hard to read that. I would probably redo the colors. This is a really good infographic. I really like this because it shows the feature of the product in a matter of 2 seconds. I knew exactly what you were trying to get across with this image very, very rapidly. You're going for the lifestyle image here, and you got the people, but you don't have the face shot. They're not looking at the camera. That's the only thing you're missing. But man, these are fairly good. This looks really familiar. I almost feel like somebody else has used that graphic or iStock photo. Title, very solid. Somebody told me only the first 80 characters of titles are indexed the other day. I do not believe that. I believe all of the title is indexed. Bullet points. Let's scroll down to the A+ content. Let's just look at one random photo and look at the alt text. Do you have alt text set? Patio remotes looks pretty solid. That's in really great shape. So you got the alt text. You take up lots of space. You got the big modules and the big pictures, and you have a crap ton of text, and you even have Q&As. Typo right there. That's FAQ, not FQA. So I did add one piece of change, and some punctuation. Definitely could use some help in your Q&A section. I would redo that. Start everything with capitals. Yeah, this is hurting you right now. This right here sounds like it was written by somebody who wasn't a native English speaker. So Tian, I would definitely get somebody to clean some of that up. It almost looks like the person who wrote these parts was English, and then some FAQs were added at a later point by somebody else, like the manufacturer. Other than that, this is a pretty dang good listing. Let's look at the Cerebro report in Helium 10 to look at the keywords and see how well they're doing. Helium 10, if you're watching this podcast, I freaking hate your drop down bull crap when I have secondary users on accounts. It is the stupidest thing, and I'm demoing live how dumb it is. See how I was clicked on this on the ASIN, and now I have to go retype it in. That's how stupid annoying it is. Helium 10, fix it. And I can't even do it. I have to go backwards. So for time's sake, we're just going to go forward here. 2,500 keywords on the distribution, 334 on sponsored, 1,900 on organic. They did change the UI on Helium 10. Your ratio here is light. You're probably underspending on ads. I usually like to see a 1 keyword to 2 organic, 1 paid keyword that is to 2 organic keyword ratio, give or take. And you are well outside that bounds. You're like 1 to 7 almost. You're at 1 to 6, 1 to 6.5 on that. So you're underspending on ads most likely. Very good reviews, and your price with a list price strike through. You got a coupon. You have all of the things that would make this product shine, and then some. Very, very good. You're just simply not advertising enough. You need to spend more on ads. That's the most valuable thing I found on that one. We got a bunch of super stickers coming in. Nico asks, let's go down to the Nico comment here. There we go. Thank you for the donation and the sticker. After listing in Canada and Mexico, I'm getting H10 alerts every couple of days for minor price changes. No hijackers in sight. So I assume that Amazon is auto-adjusting for currency fluctuations. Nico, you nailed it. That is exactly what is happening. You can change to be a static price, or you can change it to be automatic. I think automatic's the way to go, but yes, you're going to get some price fluctuations. You could change and get rid of price alerts. It's probably the least valuable one. What you really want to know is when the hijackers come on and they show up on your listing, right? And so we kind of delineate between a hijacker and an unauthorized seller. So if you guys aren't familiar with that, a hijacker comes in and changes your data. An unauthorized seller doesn't change the data. They just try and sell your product. And so it's good to know the nomenclature in the space and the industry, because it can come in handy when you're trying to talk to experts or file Amazon tickets. So know the difference between a hijacker and an unauthorized seller. So Nico's worried that unauthorized sellers could be coming on his Canada or Mexico listings, and the H10 alerts are sending him additional alerts. But Nico, here you're completely fine. You nailed this one. You're completely correct. It's just simply the price fluctuating on currency. So got it. Thanks as always. You're very welcome, Nico. Samson says, hi, Steve. I see people selling FBM items for as low as $4 with shipping. Are they just losing money, or is there something I don't know? I believe Amazon requires trackable shipping. If you were asking this about FBA, I would know the answer to that. And it would be small and light. I personally sell small and light. So I've got the smudge sticks right here, which we have in the shipping in the light, small and light program. But you said FBM at $4. More than likely, it's probably a Chinese seller who gets discounted United States Postal Service from China. That's my guess, Samsung. It's subsidized. So it might only cost somebody in China like 10 cents to ship something that might cost you and me in the States $1. I'm not hyper familiar with this, but that is my understanding. And that might be how they're getting away with the $4 with free shipping, Samsung. I don't think they probably are making money, but it's coming out of China most likely. That'd be my best guess. Does a China-based freight forwarder, FF, have any control on how long it takes UPS to collect goods at the Cali port? My goods have been sitting there for weeks. I keep asking my freight forwarder for updates. Very frustrated. So if I had $1 for every time somebody complained about California, I would be a rich, rich person. California's logistics, freight, and ports are extraordinarily backed up because the government has stepped in with regulations that make 0 sense for business, including and not limited to, they're forcing trucks to be new, like within the last 5 years. So any truck that's not 5 years or younger can't even go pick up the crates or pick up the containers. Well, the boats are now sitting out in the ocean, and there's still dozens and dozens of boats sitting out at port. It's a problem. So your freight forwarder probably has no control of this, Karen. Unfortunately, it's probably not their fault. It's California's bureaucratic government in this case. John, thank you for the super sticker. Let's see if I can find your question here. Hey, Steven, huge fan. I'm having trouble getting Amazon to take all of my updates from a flat file upload. Am I better off breaking it into isolated chunks, like category update first? This is a really interesting question. I don't think I've ever thought about this on the podcast before. I would say, sure, why not try it? I doubt it, but it's possible. So what you could do is change your file to remove all of the things you don't need to change for that one particular upload and do a partial update and see if the change goes into effect. What can sometimes happen with template upload errors is that one error at the beginning of the data won't clear, so none of the other data will take. That sometimes happens, especially if it's a core field related to the UPC or the brand name. If one of those errors out, they ignore the rest of the data frequently. So I think it's worth trying, John. That's a pretty easy thing to test. You could probably know the answer to that question in about 10 minutes of effort. Just edit your template file upload down to a single SKU with a category. But category changes, to be honest, are no longer controllable. You have to file a brand registry ticket. So earlier in the podcast, we walked you through how to actually update or upload a brand registry tickets to get that change to go through. Great question on that one. You said during product launch, have your PPC bids be fixed. How do you determine that initial bid to run on? 20% above suggested bid is a pretty good indicator. Anywhere from 20 to 30%, Karen, most likely would be a really good way to do it. Moman said your address needs to be changed in the UK. We did that. Try it. All right. So you're going to send me an email on that one. Let's go looking down for other member questions I haven't done yet. When making a new brand, you know your products. Okay, we did that one. Sorry, I got lost on the queue because every time I get a super sticker, I skip the queue and I go back down. Frost, one of our new members today. Have you ever seen FB custom audiences work for low-cost items? No, never. In fact, I've never seen it work. Direct-to-consumer goods are, if you have a really good Shopify account, then FBA Facebook ads generally work better. If you have other products that aren't good for direct to consumer, that is off a website, Facebook ads probably won't work for you, unfortunately. John, thanks for joining our channel and becoming a member. We'll prioritize member questions today. If you haven't joined and become a member today, just hit the join button on the channel at youtube.com/myamazonguy. And let's go. I've almost cleared the member queue. I think I'm pretty close to clearing it. And then after that, we'll go to some future member questions, and I'll stay late today. So I'm going to go past the hour. I think we did that one. All right. I think I might have caught up all of the member questions. So let's go to future member questions. Well, here's one more from Robert. What do you do when a customer asks for an invoice when using NARF? Wow. That's a new one. I have not had this question before, Robert. So many of you are scratching your heads and being like, what's this invoice thing? What happens is a B2B customer places an order with you on Amazon, and they actually pay net terms, believe it or not. And so Amazon generally handles all of this. However, there can be a case where you have to send an invoice. So how does NARF affect this? I don't know. For those that don't know what NARF is, it's not the Pinky and the Brains reference. NARF, like the mouse would say. It's North American Remote Fulfillment Program. And what you do for the NARF program is you have your inventory in the US and it can ship to Canada and Mexico out of the US FBA facility with no taxes, customs, or duties paid by you as the seller. The buyer handles all of that directly with Amazon. So that's how NARF works. NARF's a broken program, unfortunately, and it does not have any way to fix it. If you try and upload a product to NARF and it says you're not eligible, there is no way to fix it right now. No amount of ticketing, no amount of calls, nothing. How do I know this? Because my team has spent 40 hours trying to crack that one because we saw it as a business opportunity. If we could crack NARF, we could help so many accounts set NARF up. And that would be so awesome if we could do that. But as for requesting an invoice with NARF, Robert, I have no idea at all. So I hope you find the answer to that one. That's good. I would ask Amazon on that. What is your order of operation when using a flat file update to do an overhaul for a listing? Do you stick to partial update or full? Do you ever do a delete? And if so, when? Great, fantastic question. Catalog management is the most underrated section of your catalog management. I show my service page because, yes, I want some additional clients to sign up, but I also show it to show and indicate that catalog is underrated. These are the 4 pillars right here. Anybody that argues that these are not the 4 pillars of Amazon, I would like to debate them, because these 2, PPC and SEO, grow traffic. These 2, design and catalog, grow conversion rates. So when we talk about catalog questions like John has, this is an extraordinarily interesting question. If you want to get really good at managing Amazon, get good at flat file template uploads. Bottom line. I recommend you do the following. Number 1, back up your data. Anytime you're going to do work on your account, hit the export button on your data. Now, to do this, you have to file a ticket and request access to the category all listing report. It is only available on your account for 7 days at a time. So you will have to re-request it at a later point. After you've done a backup, download the report, you then can make any edits you need. And so, John, what I typically recommend doing is download the backup, make the one change you need to make, and then re-upload the entire file. Or delete the SKUs you don't need to load and just load for those specific SKUs. But the reason why I like making the change to the same file and doing a full update is because it really helps the data take hold if you load a full update when you do it. And I think that you need to do data control. So if you have an original file and you have a second file with a date on it, and this is supposed to be the gospel, and this is the old gospel, you got the Old Testament right here, and you got the New Testament template upload. Guess what? You have history. You can put them back together. If you F up and have to make a change and go back, you can go and use the past files that you have. So this is why I like full template upload, giant templates, do backups, make the changes in one giant template and reload it. If I'm having an error that I cannot clear with a full template upload, at that point, I'll typically go to partial update and I'll break down the SKU to the core fields and need it. That's a great question, John. I really like that one. I have hijackers in Canada. How can I remove them? I don't have a Canada address. We successfully remove Canada hijackers all the time at about a 100% removal rate. We are not buying from the Canada sellers. This is what I do. Get a Canadian trademark if it's a big problem. We do sell Canadian trademarks at my Amazon guy. They take a year to go into effect. So you won't get the intellectual property removal rights for a full year on Canada, unfortunately, with a pending trademark. So that one's out. File for the trademark, though, for next year. It will help you. It's smart. I highly recommend it. It's needed. But with that said, what we do with the pending trademark, we'll file copyright claims, reference the trademark, and say that the sellers are selling counterfeit goods, because they are. Most of the sellers in Canada are not retail arbitraging your product out of the US and then shipping it to Canada. The ones that are doing that will be obvious because their prices will be 50% higher. The guys that are coming in and unauthorized selling your item at your price or lower, they're selling knockoff goods every single time. The Chinese come on my listings all the time. It's a really, really bad problem. So what I do is I'll file copyright infringement reports, and I will file every ticket until they go down. And I will also contact the seller and tell them, I've reported you to Amazon for infringing upon my trademark and brand. If you don't want Amazon to ding your account, remove your selling from this ASIN today before they ding your account. It scares the seller, who is definitely doing some black hat stuff, into cooperating. Never play ball, never be nice to those sellers. Always, always treat them for what they are. They are scum. They are unauthorized sellers on your listings. Eventually, I want to pivot my business to getting product goods made elsewhere other than China. Don't want to fund the CCP. Any cost-effective thoughts on this? Yes, I think the future is made in America. With all of the logistics challenges and with all of the international politics, bypass it all, make it in the States. I believe that made in America is going to have a gigantic comeback. However, it's definitely more expensive. So that's going to be the number one problem and constraint. So if you're looking for China alternatives and you don't want to make it in America, Vietnam is definitely an up and coming. Taiwan is more expensive, and Mexico is starting to get some legs behind it. So Mexico probably my favorite up and comer. Now, obviously, if you're selling clothing, India is a good place. So is Peru for some llamas. What am I looking? Alpacas. That's what I was trying to think of. Certain items do better in certain countries, but overall, it's tough to beat the Chinese, who are navigating down to the penny level. All right, so let's see if I've got all of those in. Can you please do an ASIN review of this in the UK? Our conversion rate and traffic is low. We had trouble with the other UK one. Let's see if we can pull up IMEs here and see if we can do that. So Bravo 09, GP MV M6V. Yours came up. I don't know why we had trouble with the other one today. All right, so let's take a look at this ASIN review here. And we've got, hey, Brucey, I'm doing a live podcast right now. Can you ask Mom? We almost had a guest, guys. All right, so I think you needed help with the TV. Let's take a look at this. I wonder if you could get away with putting a face behind the face mask. Some categories won't allow that. I would test it though. This text is too small. It needs to be blown up. I think this image is garbage. This is really good. This might be a better main image. You might want to have this A/B tested against this main image. I bet you this will win. I bet you 65-35 on the split. 65% of people will say that's better. Text is a little bit on the small side here. I think you need to blow that up a little bit. This one's not bad though. Definitely too small on that one. I just feel like there's not enough color. There's just not enough color going on here. I think you're gonna have to do something to spruce up the color. Title is really lengthy and follows all the best practices. Bullets are on the shorter side. I think you could do better on bullets. You're short on copy in the A+. Nope, no, you're not. You got plenty of copy down there. Let's look at the alt text of the A+ content. That looks fine. So that's in pretty good shape. And finally, let's look at your keyword notifications here. See what that does. Sam asks, how about turkey? And I would say, man alive, helium sand, fix this. This is so annoying. I have to type in the keyword or the ASIN manually. So annoying. All right, let's see. Get keywords. Let's take a look. And I got to switch the market. Go to UK. All right, so we got 1,100 keywords. That's a little low. So the indexing is a problem. 711 on sponsored and 500 on organic. So what this tells me is that your organic indexing is in its infancy. You need a lot more work on the SEO. That's what you need to focus on, I mean. So run you need to run phase 1 SEO. We have our best practice. For those that haven't seen our guide on phase 1 SEO, go over to my website, myamazonguy.com, and go to search engine optimization, SEO phase 1. This is a free guide. You will just need to put your name and email in here. Yes, I do add you to my marketing emails if you do this. Yes, you can unsubscribe at any point in time, but go check it out. We give a free SEO guide, all of the PDF and explanations on what to do. I mean, you need to run this phase on that ASIN. It's not even qualifying for phase 2 yet. All right, so let's go. So I think I have 60 unanswered questions in queue right now, and I'm going to try and do a lightning round. Here's where I'm just going to go as fast as I can, answer as many questions. Can we apply for A+ content if our trademark application is pending in the UK? No. Only US pending trademarks are allowed. Please file a US pending trademark with my Amazon guy. We'll help you out with that. How can I source from somewhere else other than Alibaba? Do I find a sourcing agent looking for kitchen and home goods? I am not a sourcing expert. I'm a marketer. You need to follow guys like the Beard Guy, Norman Farrar. He is the #1 sourcing expert that I'm aware of. Follow his content for sourcing related questions. Abdallah says, Amazon shows the option of pending when we go to brand registry site. Yes, pending US trademark, but I'm not aware of a UK pending trademark working. Any suggestions for how do we design the title and bullets of a listing for Amazon SEO? Yes, use as many words as possible. Use exact match from your search term research, and look at the top 10 competitors and run them through a tool like Cerebro to see what the top keywords that they all consistently rank on. Ant1 says, Abdallah, nope. Can we apply for A+ content is in pending status in the UK? So it looks like somebody else is seconding me on the no on that. Tell me what we should do for a PPC strategy for a very low search volume item. Main keyword 2000, launched 3 weeks ago. That's not a low. That's pretty good. There's going to be a lot of other long tail keywords under 2000 search volume. It should be just fine. Main keyword at 2000 means long tails are going to be in the 50s to 100s though. I would say just run your standard playbook. I don't really think there's going to be a problem. Maybe a broad match on that keyword would be a really good campaign though. What are the pros and cons for small and light program? You lose the FBA badge, but you pay way less on FBA fees, like 50% less in some cases. So I do recommend it. Can we apply for A+ content? Nope, we got that one already. Amazon shared that the bullet points are not getting indexed currently. Should we copy the same text to EBC buffering? I believe bullet points are getting indexed. Amazon shares lots of false information all the time. The left hand at Amazon doesn't know the right hand is doing. I am confident that the title, the bullets, the A+ content, and the alt text all get indexed. You can test this yourself. Go put Spanish into one of those fields. And if you don't index in 48 hours, then I'm a big fat liar. Let's see. Can we get stop asking the same questions twice, please, guys. I will do my best to get you. What is your order of operation when using a flat file update to do an overhaul for a listing? We did that one actually. Let's see. I'm a big fan. Thanks for becoming a member today too, John. I'm having trouble getting Amazon to take all of my updates from a flat file update. Am I better breaking it in chunks? Yes, you are. I think we covered the other part of your question. I think it's under settings, return settings, create a returnless resolution, but I'm not sure I created it correctly. That was on the returnless question. How to be a part of your team. I applied, but not getting a response. So we do our best to respond to people, but we're not very good at this right now, to be totally honest. If you have applied to us, please reach back out and ask for an update. And you can go to myamazonguy.com/jobs to see all of our open jobs. We are hiring both in the United States as well as worldwide. In fact, here is a picture of all the countries we currently have people in. Everywhere from Mexico, Brazil, Philippines, Pakistan, Turkey, Romania, United Kingdom. We have members of our teams in all of these countries. If you want a job that's specific to a particular vertical, like PPC jobs, for example, go to myamazonguy.com/PPC jobs. Here is the exact steps you need to follow if you want a PPC job with My Amazon Guy. Send your resume to ppcjobs@myamazonguy.com. take our culture index survey and our PPC quiz. We will get back to you and we'll invite people for interviews that pass the quiz and share our core values at My Amazon Guide. If you haven't got a response, it's completely fine to send a follow-up email. We also have landing pages for copy jobs, myamazonguide.com/copy jobs. We also have design jobs, myamazonguide.com/design jobs as well. So I hope you guys apply. We definitely need more talent. We're growing as a company. When running auto campaigns for a product, you run 2 different ones, splitting it up with close and loose match, then substitutes and complements, or 1 campaign with all 4. Personally, I have not seen any improved performance by splitting them up. I have run this test many times, and from time to time, we'll have a client ask for it. I don't see any difference in performance, believe it or not. Insurance 2 of 2. Let's see. Do you have a 1 of 1 question? Nope. Okay. Choose the one on the right of 3 options. Fill out the questionnaire. Hope for a good quote. That's his recommendation. Product in stock that is old weight, so you just need to file a template upload to fix that one. Do you recommend returnless refund for products under $12? Yes, I would. Is there a specific algorithm to get Amazon seller badge, like bestseller and Amazon's choice? For bestseller Amazon badge, yes. All you got to do is just have a really high velocity. Be the best in that subcategory to get that badge. That one's easy to understand, but not necessarily easy to obtain. Amazon's choice, however, is less understandable. Essentially, in my opinion, the theory here is Amazon will give you the Amazon's choice badge if your product has the highest conversion rate for that keyword. If they don't have a lot of data, they just sometimes give it out randomly. So that one's not, there's no public data to show like how to obtain an Amazon's choice badge. I think they're overrated. I get questions about this one all the time. I don't think it actually affects sales because it affects clicks. It doesn't affect conversions though. Like it gets people on your listing perhaps, but it doesn't necessarily convert them better from my experience. I could be wrong on that. I would love to see some official data. What should be the daily budget for newly launched products in the United Kingdom? So PPC costs in the UK are going up, but they're still significantly cheaper than in the United States. I think you can get away with 25% tacos in the first month or so when you're first launching it. But I do think you need to spend £1,000 minimum to get a product off the ground. I'm interested in a coaching call with you. Can I possibly have an initial consultation call to explain what I'm looking for? Here's what I recommend you do, James. Send an email to coaching@myamazonguide.com. And if I don't think, I will tell you honestly, whether we believe we can help you or not. But if you email coaching@myamazonguide.com, whether you think which coach would be the best to sign up with, I will tell you. Additionally, if you just want to spend $50 on your question, James, just ask it so you don't have to go through a phone call, ask it here. And we'll take a credit card payment from you and you can simply just ask a question. I get one of those a day typically. Thanks for the priceless coaching call. Just to follow up. So this is an endorsement from Nico here. He just had a coaching call with me in the past week. After submitting a ticket, I got an email saying I'm now eligible for remote fulfillment. I'm now listed in CA and MX. Yes, we tried to set up NARF for him and it was ineligible. This is a very promising sign. This is the first time I've ever heard somebody being able to get an uneligible NARF product eligible. That is fantastic news, Nico. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm really glad what we did worked. So that's really fantastic. Dr. Kaz, haven't seen you in a long time. Hey, Pope, getting much interest from Amazon sellers in Japan. I have 3 or so selling a popular product of mine. Anything to watch out for when working with resellers as not to tarnish my brand. So I have never sold on Amazon Japan. I don't know that I see a lot of risks here because if your product gets into more markets, it's generally going to be beneficial for you. Now, if Japan goes well for those resellers, I would advise you to launch in Japan and take it over though. And so you're going to want to have control if you can. Now, obviously it takes a lot of work. So maybe it's just better to let them sell your product for you. The only thing I would worry about is hijackers selling their own fake knockoff products. That'd be the #1 problem. Does MAG have an option to do full revamps of listings, pictures, copy, A+ content, design, etc.? Yes, we're going to make a landing page here in the next week or so. Our design team is working on that right now. We're going to charge $2,000 to do that exact thing you're looking for. We currently only have an a la carte option for A+ content at $1,000. We also have a la carte options for pictures, but we've not ever sold a la carte copy. It is just really hard to make clients happy, project clients happy on copy. Been a really hard business model to operate. My product's on the way. What kind of PPC strategy should I run right after the arrival of the product? Which launch strategy would you suggest to use? Spend $2,000 to $3,000 if you're in the US, and try and spend as much traffic to that product as humanly possible in the first 2 weeks. The honeymoon period is real. Makes a big, big difference. Ruben, thank you for the $5 sticker. We'll go to your question next because of the donation. If I sell a product that is the top seller on Home Depot and Lowe's, can we use graphics of those stores in our A+ content? I thought I answered this one already for you, Ruben. Sorry if I missed it, but I thought I did. You can get away with it, in my opinion. I don't think Home Depot or Lowe's are tracking this or care or enforcing any problems here. It's probably gray, to be fair, but I don't think you get into any trouble or challenges. I think it's safe to do. Scrolling back up to the queue, looking for, I'm going to try and do my best to get to as many of these as we can. We still have at least 30 questions I haven't answered yet. PPC for a new product launch, fixed bid, up, down, whatever. So I do fixed bid on launch. I go to down only after 20 sales. I have a product that got a 1-star review in the first 3 weeks. That's the worst. That is the worst thing to happen. I turned off PPC, but I'm organically ranking in top 5 with some very relatable keywords and doing $1,200 in daily sales. Sounds like you're probably okay. Here's another use case example that says customers take reviews with a grain of salt right now. All right. So if I know I won't be able to restock in time before I run out, should I increase the price to try and stay back in stock for the organic ranking to stay? Where is it, or leave it as is? I would slow burn it personally. We had the same question on the SellerX podcast. She gave the same answer, and that is it's better to slowly go out of stock than to go cold turkey out of stock. I think it's better. Preferred number of keywords in a campaign, 10 or 15 or less? Yes, that's definitely my preferred. Whenever we take over accounts, though, we'll see all kinds of campaign structures, and sometimes they work. Sometimes running 50 keywords works. It's dependent. My product is on the way. What kind of PPC strategy should I run right after the arrival of the product? So $2,000 spend, I'd recommend it. Get it off the ground. Ravi, is there a way to find which category is doing great on Amazon? Any data backed by results or tools? Yes. A couple of options you have available. Option 1, you can use the new category discovery tool inside of Amazon. We did a video on this one, Ravi. You'll definitely want to watch that one, where we walk through how to navigate that. Other tools like Jungle Scout, AMZ Scout, and Helium 10 are really good at category research. And so we also have a discount for Helium 10. If you go to myamazonguy.com/H10, you can get a 50% discount off Helium 10. Those are the sort of programs we use to improve our category research. Did that one. What would be a main keyword from Helium 10 data? This is going to be a keyword that all 10 of your top competitors rank in the top 10 for. That's how you're going to know. All right, so we got a question from Jahil. Having trouble understanding the terminology used in business reports, detail page, sales, and traffic. Can you explain the terminology in more detail? For example, is sessions the same as clicks? And is page views the same as clicks, etc.? This is a great question. Sessions is going to be the person, not the click. So that means a person could have a session on your page, go to somebody else's product, and come back to you. It'd be one session. If they clicked on the item and switched to mobile from desktop, or left your product and came back another day, that would be a click. So clicks are going to be unique or unique ways to get to the page by any means necessary, but a session could be a logged in user leaving and coming back through various platforms. I probably butchered how I said that, but I think you guys know what I mean. Back to fun stuff. You shall get our PPC services. Stephen, 34:4-5. I think that was a Bible joke when we were talking about the Old Testament and New Testament and Bible copy on the A+ content. That was a crazy topic. You launched your product only with PPC and now are using optimizing PPC campaigns. As you don't have reviews yet for a month, there are obviously a lot of clicks but less conversions. What's a good keyword? So tough to add flavor to that one. Basically, anything that you're indexing in the top 15, 20 keywords, keyword rankings, you're going to be in really good shape. Budget rule on hold, ACoS at 18%. Ask the rule to increase by 50% if it's below 20%. But the rule is on hold. What am I doing wrong? So this could be, there could be some other rule that's trumping this in whatever PPC software you're using, Ravi. You could just manually overwrite it and go in there and type it in yourself to see what the tool does after you do a manual change. That's probably what I would do. What's a good length for a title? I would say anything between 150 to 180 characters would be good. Notice how I said characters there. I didn't say bytes. When we first started our podcast, for those that joined us late, because we're 90 minutes into our podcast right now, I spent 15 minutes explaining how every SEO tool on the entire market is probably wrong. They are counting spaces against your byte count inside of Seller Central. So we went through and explained, we showed the help files to explain how spaces are not counted. It's right here in the help files. What's the difference between a byte and a character? A byte has a little bit more complicated to explain than I anticipated, but a character counts spaces, a byte does not. So you do not need to have your SEO terms set by character counts. It's not 250 characters. It's 250 bytes, which means you can put in like 290 characters into your search term field, increasing your SEO juice by 15 or even 20%. So really fun reveal today. This was one of the most important podcasts I ever put out, where we talked about SEO and many, many important reasons why this is important. Thank you for the super sticker, Karen. I am out of steam, guys. I have to run. There are probably another 30 questions in queue I did not get to. I'm so sorry. I prioritize questions if you're a member. So if you haven't today, please click that join button. If you liked today's podcast, just simply write thank you or write, I really learned something new about XYZ. Tell me what you learned or what you liked about the podcast today. Just write in the chat SEO. Just type SEO into the chat. Let's see if we can get this video to rank for SEO, because this is the biggest SEO reveal of the year. As big as when I proved A+ content indexes on Amazon. Extraordinarily important. So Karen says, you're the GOAT. You're the greatest of all time. Thank you, Karen. Michael says, thank you. Tion says, thank you, man. You guys are all welcome. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. All right, SEO, 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 SEO. Yeah, let's get this one ranked for SEO. Search engine optimization. You guys are all fantastic. I'll see you next Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. You guys are fantastic. We'll see you.